Welcome to Vibrant Numerals, where we explore the vibrations of the world around us using numerology, astrology, and more, and apply them to our everyday lives. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video, it's going to be a bit of a surprise, I think, for both of us. Because I'm not exactly sure what this message is that needs to come through. But there's some kind of message around mirrors and this month of October 2025 that really wants to come out and be heard. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And also feel free to put any of your comments and questions down below. I do make sure to look at them and hopefully be able to respond to them all. All right, so mirrors in October. We have, so first, looking at this October numerology. So October 2025 is resonating at a 19. Ooh, I do not like how thick that is. Let's fix that. All right, there we go. And so what we have happening, and I go into this in detail in some of my other October videos, but we have where we had this very energetic month of September, which is the 9th month, and it was resonating at this 9 energy. And 2025 also is resonating at 9, and that's just from when we add it up, we get this 9. And for September, just like we are adding here for October, when we added up September, we got 18, which ended up in a 9. So what's happening is we have all of this 9 energy where, and actually it starts even before this, where it's starting before in January, where we had January up into September, where the energy is going through this 9 cycle and it's really building up the energy until we get here to September, where it's the 9 energy is very dominant. So for all of 2025, we're really in this 9 energy, and we're really meant to be ending things, but also and primarily allowing energy to be shifted. And so from January until September, we're building up all of this energy, going through this 9 cycle. And in September, it's like it's getting a power wash. With this 9 energy, where any of the energy that is being prepared to be shifted is getting cleaned up. Any of the impurities, any of the things that really truly need to end are being pulled out of this energy and ending and coming to completion. And the rest of this energy, now that it is cleaned up of these things that really truly needed to end and be removed from our lives, now we have this 9 energy that can shift into October. So we have this big, huge wave of energy coming into this October space. And this 9 energy is this 9 point in this 19. So we're getting all of this energy from September, and that's getting funneled into being able to apply this energy in new ways. So we're taking these vibrations and energy that have been cleaned up and shifted, and we are now being able to apply it in new ways here in October, where we have to be very intentional about how we're using this energy, because this then takes us to the 10, where we have the God energy, this energy that we cannot control, that it's energy straight from the universe, straight from a higher power, and it's enhancing this one. So now it's making this one, this new energy, even more powerful. It's amplifying it. But what we really want to focus on here is this 19. So October is operating in this 19 energy. But what we're seeing is there's some kind of mirror that is happening. We're seeing this in how things are happening in the astrology, also how things are happening in the earth space. And those are two of the spaces where it's harder to argue against them because they're closer to like big T truth. There's less opinion, there's less differences in perspective in those spaces. And so if we're seeing it there, then we definitely are seeing it in our social spaces, so in our own lives, but also in our own energetic bodies, so what we are experiencing in our lives. And when we look at the word mirror, if we take all of the letters and add them up, so M is 13, so we do 13 plus 9 plus 18 for R, plus 18 plus 15 for O, and then we have the last R. This adds up to 91. And so this 91 is a mirror image of the 19 for October. So this is our October 19 energy. And then we have this 91 energy that's coming from this word mirror. So we're seeing things happening in this mirror kind of way. And now we see that this word mirror is resonating at a 91, which is a direct mirror image of the energy of October at 19. So before we dive into that real quick, let me just tell you a little bit about what I'm seeing astrologically, so up in space and also on the earth. So let's start with what we're seeing on the earth. So we see on the earth right now that 2025 is one of the biggest years, most active years for earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. And also it's one of these strange years that we have periodically for the weather, where the weather is doing things that is very unpredictable. But what we're seeing in these reactions is that we're getting release of energy. So earth energy releases. So any of the vibrations and energy that we are getting bombarded with and we're having to work with, earth is also. And we see earth releasing this energy, moving this energy, working with this energy in a couple of different ways. We see it with weather. We see it with any of this earth movement, so like earthquakes. So any kind of earth movement. And we also see it with volcanic activity. And only some of this can we actually see. It's probably a lot more that's happening underneath the Earth's surface or deep in the ocean space that we're not really seeing. But what we are seeing, so if we look up the different earthquakes and volcanic activities that are happening, if this is like our map, no, the Earth is not flat, but if we're looking at the map, what is happening is that we'll see like a earthquake on this side of the globe, And then we'll see some other earth movement or an earthquake like over here, where it's like crossing the mirror plane. And we're seeing something very similar with this volcanic activity, but it's in between here. So if we have like the earthquakes are happening in a mirror kind of place. So we had several earthquakes coming up around the coast of Russia near Alaska. And then we saw some mirror images happening on the other side of the world in the Philippines. So here we have this mirrored earthquake activity. And so then what that's triggering is we're then getting some volcanic activity like here and then up here also. And so we are seeing some very heavy volcanic activity at the largest volcano on Earth, which is in the Hawaiian Islands. And then we are seeing some volcanic activity happening in places that are more north of the Hawaiian Islands, happening as well. So we're getting some of this mirror imaging happening in different places where it's the release of this earth energy. So when I say that we're seeing some of this mirroring earth activity, that's what I mean. Also the same thing with some of this weather, where we could see some strange weather, like we've had some hurricane stuff over here in, like this would be like North America, South America, and then we would see interesting things mirrored similarly over here on this side of the planet. So we're seeing even the weather conditions are doing some interesting mirroring things. So we're seeing some of these mirroring activities, which is, it happens, but it doesn't happen this synchronistically. Like we usually don't see it like this heavy and synchronistically. And that's why it's coming up as a pattern to recognize. We also have in our astrology, so we have an interesting aspect that's happening. So we have like this sextile kind of like triangle here, where it's a set of sextiles. Sextiles are very much energy of like opportunity. It's like a pocket of energy that is for an opportunity, but you have to take action on it. But this is happening between some of our, well, all of our outer planets, where we have up here we have like Pluto in Aquarius, or Pluto in Aquarius, and then I think down here is Uranus in Gemini, and then over here we have Neptune and Saturn, and both of these are they're fluctuating right now between Aries and Pisces. But we have this energy that's happening, and what's happening is like this is kind of cycling this energy, because these are outer planets. This aspect we are going to see for years, for a very long time. But on the short term, what we're seeing on the opposite side is we're seeing another one of these like triangles. Ugh, that's so terrible. I don't like how that looks. Let me try again. We have this mirror image of this triangle. It's not like the first one I drew was like spectacular or anything, but we could at least get a little closer. So we have another one of these like sextile triangles that's happening, but this one is sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's weak, because it's working with these planets that are moving a lot faster, and so they're not always in the strong aspects where this energy isn't always really strong. But this is Jupiter down here, Jupiter in Cancer, And then this is our north node. And then this is Lilith, which is the dark moon asteroid. So it's like the dark emotion and the shadow emotions of the moon. Also, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why this is coming up, but it is that we, with the north node here, there is also a south node. So we do have kind of a connection point that's happening like here, over here, because the south node is going to be directly opposite of the north node. And the north node and south node right now are in, what are they in? Pisces and Virgo. And so this might be opposite, because this is right. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna leave it like this, because what the big important thing to recognize is that there is this mirroring that's happening. So there's this interesting mirroring that is happening around it, like in the astrological space. And so it's kind of like there's a mirror right here where they're reflecting each other. And this side is like long term, and all of these aspects are really about opportunity. It's about harnessing this opportunity for transformation and for change and for growth. So this is long-term opportunity to transform and change. And these are what's representing and bringing in these short-term opportunities of growth and transformation and change. And so we have this mirroring that's happening here also in the astrological space. And it's interesting that these aspects really are about opportunity and transformation, and change is what's coming up a lot. This is coinciding with this 9 energy of 2025 that really is about cleaning up things that need to leave the spaces and moving into a new space, in particular here in October with that 19. And this is kind of what's being mirrored here as well, is like it's time to utilize this energy to be able to begin to get rid and close out things and move into a new space. Now, the best way for us to move things out and clean up our space is through healing. So healing any of, like, really focusing on healing to heal any of anything, any of our traumas, any of our bad habits, even like our health healing. This is the time that we need to do that. It's time to like end those bad habits. It's time to end the unhealthy things and pull in healing. And healing resonates at 56. And I'm bringing this up because what we also have happening in our astrological space is we have a bunch of comets that have already started to come into our space, and we'll see them appear and be part of our astrology much more starting in October. And this word comet also resonates at 56. So the comets are bringing in this vibration that's also resonating as healing. And so that means that we have these huge opportunities, because we have these opportunity aspects here, to be able to heal in long-term ways And this will have for years that we can be using this energy, but right now we have it in short-term ways as well. And so we can use that energy and this mirroring of energy to be able to take this opportunity for healing. So then that brings us back to looking at this mirror of vibrations that's coming, so October is resonating at this 19, and then the word mirror is resonating at this 91, and so it's creating this mirror image vibration. It's creating this mirror image number. And whenever we have these types of vibrations that are coming in like this, so if you're seeing a lot of these mirroring numbers, this is what it's trying to tell you. We have these outer numbers, so here these ones that want to be together. They would prefer to be together, and so they are essentially creating a portal. And then we have these nines together that are actually creating momentum, and they're amplifying each other. And so now this is coming out into our space to be able to use very highly. And 99 is the numerical vibration of the word ascension, to raise your vibration, to raise your consciousness, to raise your way of being, which is associated with healing. And so this is the time now to really be able to take advantage of this energy. We as humans, how we experience these mirrors is through our relationships with people. It does not matter if it's just a stranger on the street for 2-second encounter, or your long-term relationships like with people in your family. But what happens is, here, let me move this over. So what happens is, if we have this mirror image, we encounter everybody that comes into our life. We encounter them and they act as a mirror for us. So if this is a relationship between two people, and again, any kind of person-to-person interaction is considered a relationship, some kind of partnership. It's an exchange of energy. And so in these energetic exchanges, this is where we are getting our mirrors, and we are now able to use this energy towards healing. So for everybody that we encounter and we meet, we are giving them a reflection of something they need to see. So from their perspective, they are seeing something in us that is mirroring something that is in them. And the same thing is happening back to us, where they're just shooting out their vibration, because we have our vibrations. We've looked at those where it's our name and our life path number. So we're just walking around having these vibrations, having this energetic vibrational experience. But they also are sending back to us a reflection of something that's within us. Now, when the reflection shows us something, so when we see something in another person that we like, then we tend to think, oh, I like this person. They're like me. They make me feel comfortable. And that's fine to then be able to tag on to them and build the relationship off of those things that you have in common or that you like about them. But whether we like it or not, Every person is flawed because we are humans. And so we're always going to encounter something that we don't like about them. And the reflection is telling us that it is more about ourselves than it is about them. And so when we think about this mirror image energy that's coming into our space, we have to be prepared starting here in October to recognize the reflection that we are seeing in the mirror of other people. And we have to start being able to use that energy towards our own healing. So taking a moment to be able to recognize what it is that you're seeing. How is it making you feel? What is it impacting within you? And working with that. That doesn't mean that you have to work with them. You do not have to do that. That's not what that means. It means that they, in their reflection to you, are giving you a message of healing for you to be able to work with. So being able to look then for yourself and see what is this reflection telling me and how can I work with this to be able to go towards my own healing, to help me to gain more vibration and this ascension. Now we're doing this all the time because we're always in relationship with people where other people, from strangers all the way up to lifelong partners, are mirrors to us, and they are the ones that hand us the reflection of our healing, the reflection of our blessings, the reflection of our rewards. But they also show us exactly what our traumas are. They show us what our wounds are, and they show us where we have to course correct for ourselves. So we need to be prepared and ready and expecting to be able to see these things. It's always easier to see it outside of yourself, but we need to see it within ourselves. And now in October 2025 is a really good time to be able to see it and begin to work with it. Because not all of the healing is going to occur in this month, but we can certainly start the process of healing. There's probably some healing that you've been working on for a very long time that you could probably bring to a conclusion in this month. We can plant the seeds for new healing to come, and that's really what this energy is meant to help us with. So we have to be very intentional about how we're using this one energy. But part of the intention should be towards our own self-healing. And so I don't know how long this video is, but that I think is what's really coming out about these mirrors in October. That we're not meant to just be intentional in using this one energy that's coming in to start new things, to try something new. Absolutely do that. That's what you need to be doing in this energy. And October is a perfect time to use this one energy to try new things and start things that you want to go into 2026, which resonates the same one. But October in particular, because it is resonating at that 19, we have a huge opportunity right now with the astrology that's happening, with the energy the earth is putting out, to really use these mirrors. And instead of projecting, because when we project, we're turning away from the reflection of the mirror and shooting that projection outward instead of taking in the reflection for our healing. So we have an opportunity to, instead of projecting the reflection that we're seeing, to actually sit with it and take it in and use that towards our healing. We can do some extreme healing work in this month. And I think that's why this message is coming out here right at the beginning of the month. So I'll continue to talk about this. Please do leave me your questions below in the comments. Also, leave your comments about what you're seeing with this mirroring, if you are seeing it, and how you're interacting with these mirrors. And we will continue on this healing journey. Again, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. It really helps to get these messages out there to more and more people. And make sure you're hitting the notification bell, because I go live at least twice a week, sometimes more. And we have a really cool community to be able to continue these discussions. So thanks for sticking in there with me. I hope this is helpful, and let's continue this discussion, because the goal is for us all to be able to heal and use this energy in the best way to enhance our lives and get us to the lives that we want to live. So thank you. Bye.